I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income, allowed me to make sure they were effective, because it's a super competitive industry. Don't think this is easy money. You're just gonna put a girl on the camera and they're gonna get rich straight away. No, it's very competitive and it's very difficult. I learned every tip and trick it takes to make sure a girl gets paid. I know how to make sure the girl gets paid. Once you teach a girl how to do this, she has the ability to make unlimited money from home. Why would she still give it to you? Why would she just run off and keep it all for herself? Why are you getting your percentage? I learned how to do everything. Take a nobody and make her a somebody. I learned how to take a nothing, turn her into a cash cow, and betas from all across the world would be sending money into my bank account.
This is a setup. It's absolutely disgusting. Where's the evidence? Where's the proof? Where's the pictures? Where's the videos? None. I know human trafficking clearly. If you human traffic someone, there is evidence. This is a setup. It's a stitch up. This is disgusting. Disgusting.
Do you know Andrew Tate? Are you a Tater Tot? If you are, it's okay. Keep watching. And if you're not a Tater Tot, it's okay. Keep watching. Whether you like him or hate him, whether you think he makes some good points or you think everything he comes out of his mouth is dog, Andrew Tate, you cannot disagree, is pretty damn prolific. Or at the very least, he is extremely well known and genuinely to a degree influential, okay? More so than the vast majority of us can, claim to be. And with great power, great influence at least, does come great responsibility. And in the case of Andrew Tate, it's really up to you to decide whether he has been responsible with that power. Now, I'll tell you that before he gained all of his influence, all of his power, he was not exactly what you would typically call responsible with it. In fact, I would argue that the way that someone acquires power, the way that someone acquires influence, the origins of a person often tell you a lot more about them than what they do when they are already in that position of power. Does this make sense? Like, for instance, it does seem like a common path for a lot of, I guess you could say, billionaires to be a shark, to be a brutal fucking, savage, right? As they climb and descend to the top. And then once they're at the top, then it's like, okay, I'm gonna invest in all these charity organizations and invest in all these policies and get this place running nice and smooth, just so that I can make my PR nice and presentable and I look like I'm a good boy and They basically will work hard as hell to rehabilitate or, rebrand their image as, I care about humanity. I'm trying to save Earth. I'm trying to save the people who live on Earth once they are already in the position of power. So the cycle effectively goes, do whatever the you need to do to get to the top, and then once you're at the top, then you're the good guy. Then you get histories written by the victors. And guess what? Okay, whether you're a tater tot or a fucking snot, Andrew Tate did exactly this, pretty much, okay? Andrew Tate, in his, clawing to the top, absolutely cracked a couple fucking eggs. And when I say cracked a couple eggs, I mean that he exploited a couple minors. Like Minecraft? No, I'm kidding. He exploited a couple underage women. And there is, circumstantial, but arguably just, straight from the horse's mouth proof of this, which we will get into once my monitor revives itself. But to say that I am not exactly a guy who respects Andrew Tate all that much is a bit of an understatement. And again, okay, I'm not a fucking honest-to-God NPC. Oh, wait, NPC, okay? Despite what the hat might make you think. My boy, Andrew, okay, I acknowledge, or at the very least, I think it's relatively true that he is a talented kickboxer, okay? I think that he did have somewhat of a tough upbringing, okay? I think his father was abusive. As much as he tries to paint that as, like, the ideal, the dude fucking cheated on their mother, left them alone, right? And I don't know that I would say he's an ideal father. I think that a large amount of their childhood suffering does come from the fact that, you know, that their dad was absent or abusive or whatever. And look, I can empathize. I can empathize with all these things, right? Because at the end of the day, guess what? We are human, right? But the path that Tate really took to make his money, as those of you who are fully familiar with the guy will know, Tate says himself, not much money in kickboxing. Not much. And so he has elucidated this story many times, but effectively, at a certain point, he realized, dude, I can make so much more money just managing women on webcam services. Basically, you know, prostituting women online, okay? And the tactics that he went about doing this are all fucking suspect, all scummy. He talks about how he had multiple girlfriends in multiple cities across fucking Europe, and he, you know, tells them all to come to London at once. And so 5 or 6 of them come, and they realize they didn't even know about each other. And then 2 of them stayed, and so those 2 started the fucking webcam industry, whatever. But all of this lore, it's not as important to me as his relationship with a girl named Vivian, okay? So, let's take a little look-see. As you guys saw in my my Sneako video, okay, which I'll play the clip real quick, just to give you a little refresher. If you haven't seen the Sneako video, you're missing out, because this is, I would argue, probably the best video I've ever made. It's a stiff competition, but it's worth watching, I'll say that much. But here is my segment on Tate.
You think Tate is goofy? Who the fuck do you like? Who do you look up to?
I don't look up to anyone, bro.
You should have a role model.
Why?
Every man should have a, or else how do you act? How do you base your decisions?
On what I think is right. Who do you think acts right and who do you think acts wrong?
Someone like Tate.
You think Tate acts right?
Yeah.
Man, people who don't understand the appeal of Tate are so out of touch with what it's like to be a teenager. Tate lives the exact lifestyle that young kids have been programmed to desire since they were fucking born.
He's rich as fuck. He's a fucking kickboxing champion.
Fast cars, fast fortunes. I mean, hell, he's even having sex with the girls in these kids' classes.
You're Hall. So I messaged her. She's like, I'm only 16. I was like, give a fuck. Know about me. 21, I don't care. If you were to start lying and saying I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America. 18?
It's 18 usually. You get married at 16.
All right, in Romania it's 16, sorry. So Vivian's been with me 6 years. She's completely head over heels in love with me. She wants kids with me, everything. And we met and we fell, whatever, we're in love. When I bring on new girls, I usually pair them with Vivian. Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28, Vivian's like 21.
Bruh.
One of my main chicks has 200,000 Instagram followers, and I took her virginity when she was 17.
I want to earn my respect too. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be like that.
So it's no wonder why kids and this idiot would defend him to the death. He's their ideal ego. An attack on Tate is an attack on their identity.
Like, a lot of people think like you too. They're like, I don't agree with everything he says, but some of the stuff he says.
What's wrong with that, bro? That's literally called having your own opinion.
You get the idea, okay? The entire point, though, that I was getting to with our boy Tate there is, guess what? The guy was not very secretive. In fact, he was almost emboldened. He almost seemed to get a kick out of, or feel validated by bragging about the fact that he was fucking 16-year-olds. Seemingly, in some cases, 15-year-olds. All right? And so the recent news, and the reason I'm bringing all this shit up, is because it made the headlines yet again. Guess what? Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, home in Romania, raided by police yet again. It feels like this is like the 4th or 5th time. This news, I mean, look, this isn't even news, really, to me. Like, who cares, right? In my opinion, at least. I get it if you do care because you like them or don't like them, whatever. But it's like, it feels like every couple months these motherfuckers get raided. And at this point, if they have anything incriminating in their home, they're fucking stupid, right? Like, they probably, I would imagine at this point, they're expecting to get raided. So the news isn't that crazy to me, but I do want to kind of unpack it and see exactly, you know, what's being speculated about, because of course we don't really know exactly what's going on with those fellows right now. This, you know, they're, from what I understand, they're not in prison or anything, like they haven't been sentenced or anything like that. Let's take a little peek into the world of the Tate brothers for a sec. Here's the breaking news, all right? Tate investigators say there are more than 30 new victims. Some of the victims, including minors, were forced into making pornography. The Tates are being investigated for new charges: trafficking minors, human trafficking, sexual intercourse with a minor, influencing statements, money laundering. Images translated from Romanian. Oh, wow. Okay. So here's the headlines, okay? Take it with a grain of salt, but here we go. Serious charges against the Tate brothers detained again by DICOD. Human trafficking, sexual intercourse with minors, the victims forced to make films for adults. Yeesh. Okay. Controversial brothers, Andrew and Tristan Tate, have been sent back behind bars. Oh, shit. Okay, wait a minute. It seems like they have been put back in prison, seemingly. I don't know. By DICOT prosecutors after more than 6 hours of hearings. The individuals are being investigated this time in a case of trafficking minors, human trafficking, sexual intercourse with a minor, influencing statements, and money laundering. Sources from the investigation say there are more than 30 victims. Initially, the Tate brothers found themselves with masked men at the door, which led them to DICOT. Both their home and 3 other buildings in Ilfov and Capital were searched by the police. I personally, to be completely honest, I'm not too invested in the like real inner workings of the case. But here's what you need to know, okay? Andrew Tate is the type of motherfucker who is had so much, you know, blind confidence in his own reality, okay, that it wasn't enough for him to actually be pimping out women through OnlyFans-esque enterprises. I shouldn't say OnlyFans, it's webcam studios, my bad. Through webcam studios. Not only was he the type to do that, right, which that is a type of person, but guess what? He was the type to brag about it, and not just brag about that, to brag about the fact that he would lie to the women, he would make them fall in love with him, okay? He would brag about these things before, you know, pimping them out. He would lie to them and say, oh, it's tax season, I have to pay taxes on, you know, all the revenue, so you take, he literally says this, he takes 30% extra for taxes, but they get it paid in crypto, so there's actually no tax. So he literally steals from the women. That's something that he would brag about. So again, what you're dealing with here, right? When you have someone who, they're not just, you know, scummy in the sense that they fuck over the people that they work with, right? Because that's a certain kind of scum, right? They're scummy to the extent that they're so narcissistic that they take pleasure in bragging about how smart they are for fucking over the people they work with, right? And this overconfidence, this narcissism, led them to create courses on how they successfully seduced the women that they then pimped on these webcam studios, right? They made them fall in love with them. Because of course, what's better than making some young, broke, fucking Slavic woman fall in love with you? Flying them out, potentially holding their passport, not letting them communicate with their family or friends, not allowing them to leave your fucking compound. You're their boss, you're their lover, you're their fucking father, for fuck's sake. Boss, lover, landlord. You control their world. You dominate them.
Shut up, Gokanaru. The real thing you should be advertising is our brand new Hubert NPCs. Did you enjoy the Sneako video? Do you desire the love and companionship that comes with owning a Hubert of your own? Well, then you should head to gokamerch.com and sign up for the email list. It's easy. Just take a look at one of our satisfied customers.
You open it.
Oh! Oh! That's hard.
a little butt! Wow, look at that smile. Making a friend has never been easier with our new Hubert NPCs. Sign up to the Gokamerch.com email list today so that you'll be the first to be notified when Huberts go on sale. Only a limited quantity will be sold. So sign up. Alright, back to the clip.
And so as cool as that sounds, it's even cooler when you see him so eagerly self-reporting before he got so popular. That's the important part, right? Because a lot of, this stuff, especially the courses on how to pimp out women, him, being a little bit bold about the ages of these women, a lot of this stuff he was bold about before he got popular, okay? Before, he hit the mainstream. Once he hit the mainstream, of course, public PR wipe. But anyway, here's what our boy was saying before that point.
She's like, I'm only 16. I was like, give a fuck. Know about me.
It was a pretty well-known fact that he had kind of a network of young girls.
You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck would I read for you? You've got a fit sister who's 16, maybe.
Muslims have the best frame on earth. I want a virgin wife at 16 who's going to obey me. That's what I want.
You said it looks like I'm in a teenage girl's bedroom?
That one was taken out of context. Not really, but like it kind of was.
A virgin wife at 16 who's going to obey me. That's what I want.
You said it looks like I'm in a teenage girl's bedroom?
Yeah.
To some people that would be an insult, but to me, I find that quite flattering, to be honest. That's exactly what you'd expect.
I'm fucking all these
Jesus Christ.
16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America. 18?
So it's funny that these guys got this clip because I thought I was the only person who fucking spotted this. I literally just found this on stream. In fact, I found this in the third stream I ever did. I found that clip, and that was when I was first being introduced basically to Tate. So this is pretty seemingly thorough. This
or 18,
compilation.
whatever the law is in America. 18?
It's 18 usually. You get married at 16. I think.
All right, in Romania it's 16, sorry.
He employed or forced, we don't know, to do video chat for him and who knows what else.
The girl you start with is the most important girl. Because the girl you start with is going to be your bottom bitch. They call it your bottom bitch on the street. My first girl was so good, it was easy. You got to get a good one. And you're only going to find a good one by fucking a lot of hoes. I've got my main bitch, my bottom bitch, Vivian. So, Vivian here. That's how it started. I met Vivian in Slovakia. We had a long-term relationship thing. I was living in England. I moved her to England to be with me to start doing my webcam company. So Vivian's been with me 6 years.
So he's been with Vivian for 6 years, right?
Because Vivian's younger. Vivian's like 21.
Vivian's 21. And at this point, he's been a girlfriend for 6 years.
So Vivian here.
It means that they met when she was 15 years old.
It's not even the worst footage, but anyway, the point is yeah, okay, man, the guy's got origins in fucking dominating, young women, right? That's kind of has been his thing, bro. And so now that they're tacking on minor, the people are minors or whatever, of course, the case does seem a lot worse PR wise, right? It's what was this motherfucker doing to minors? And it's well, actually, he was kind of admitting to exactly what he was doing. He was making them fall in love with him, flying them out, and putting them on campsites, right? So, it is kind of what it is. When it comes to Andrew Tate, this is the one lesson that I would want to relay to you, okay? And that is, I want you to somewhat understand the difference between love and domination, okay? In my head, at least, I think that love and domination are extremely antagonistic to each other, right? Now, I guess this means I would have to define what I mean by love and domination. And it's pretty simple, okay? In my head, at the very least, this is my formula for love, what love is, okay? This is a little bit unfiltered right now, okay? I could probably refine it better, but effectively, if I'm going to put it simply, in my head, the way that I think, love, an act of love, is when you act to empower somebody beyond what is of any gain to you, okay? while you are in a position of power where you do not need to do so, okay? And so I've explained this a few times, but what do I mean by this, okay? Okay, when you're a child, all right, and your mom tells you to clean the dishes, all right? If you don't clean the dishes, well, your mom might take away your Xbox, she might hit you, she might, there might be a consequence, basically, right? And so if you don't do the dishes when you're a small child, and you're not in a position of power where you don't really have a choice, you're being coerced, basically. Well, if you do the dishes at that time, that's not you acting out of love, it's acting out of obligation, right? Because you kind of have to, right? But if you grow into a big old boy, okay, you got your big pants on, you're fucking a big man now, and your mom asks you to fucking clean the dishes? My mom's asking me to clean the dishes? Well, if you decide to clean the dishes, all right, in this position of power where your mom can't really, hit you, right? She can't take away your Xbox, like you live alone, whatever, you're just visiting your mom. If your mom asks you to do the dishes for her, you are in a position of power where you don't have to do this, but you choose to empower, to an extent, your mother, to reaffirm to her that, yes, you have a little bit of power over me by doing the dishes for her, okay? And, saving her the time, whatever, doing her the favor. So in my head, that is generally what I would view as a loving relationship. When you, from a position of power, it's very important that it's from a position of power, okay? Right? Because if you have to do it, if you have to uplift somebody, if it's your job, if they're your boss, etc., if you have to do it, then it's coercive. It's not out of like a genuine, loving, urge, right? So, from the position of power, you choose to uplift people, right? To make them a little bit more powerful or whatever, give them a bit of power over you, right? That, in my head, is love. What's domination? Domination is very commonly confused or warped from love or whatever. But domination is basically, it's honestly a little bit simple. It's when you want complete control over somebody's life, okay? It's when, from a position of power, you seek to have complete power over the other person. You're not acting to empower them, to make them, masters of their own world, whatever you would say. You're trying to become the master of their world, okay? To impose your will upon their fucking existence entirely. And our boy Andrew Tate, the lesson I would teach or relay in relation to him is that a lot of his downfall or his negative traits, whatever you would say, because at the end of the day this guy will probably be fine, okay, because he did it, he successfully exploited these people, right? That can't be undone. But I would not advertise his lifestyle or any of what he really does as necessarily ideal, okay, especially in regard to women, whatever. Of course, that's just my opinion, right? But what I'm getting at is that a life where you are dominating, your partner especially, but other people too, but your partner especially, it is not nearly as fulfilling and, satisfying as it's advertised to be, right? Because on paper, I understand how people can think like, what are you talking about, man? Of course I want complete fucking control. Of course I want to have totalizing power over the person who, I'm supposed to like live the rest of my life with. I want them to do what I want when I want it done. What do you think happens when someone feels the presence of a dominator? What do you think goes through someone's mind when they feel like they have no fucking control over their life? Or that every ounce of control that they have in their life is contingent on the approval of another. What happens when you get locked in a cage and there's a motherfucker smiling in the corner with the key? Well, one of two things happens. Usually both in a certain order. You go fucking nuts. You start kicking and screaming. You start lashing out in order to try and reestablish any amount of power you possibly can. And if that doesn't work, eventually you just fall into a learned helplessness. Now, both of those things don't have to happen. Neither of them are ideal. But one of the two will usually happen in a situation where one person is dominated by the other person. Do you understand? Neither are ideal. I don't know if you've ever interacted with people who suffer from learned helplessness, but it's not exactly motivating. I don't know if you've ever experienced people who are manically, psychotically, aggressively trying to regain any ounce of control in their life, but that's not very ideal either. It's actually fucking terrifying. The real point, though, is that it's not ideal for anybody involved. Of course, on paper, it would sound sick to a fucking teenage boy, which Andrew and Tristan Tate certainly appeal to, right? Oh, dude, of course I want a fucking slave. I want a mom who sucks my cock. That would be great. But no, the reality is you don't exactly get to have your cake and eat it too. If I'm going to preach, because now I'm definitely just preaching, I understand. If I'm going to preach any kind of pursuit romantically to you, you fucking idiot, random person on the internet, allow me to suggest this as an alternative, okay? Because guys like Tate, guys like Tristan, these guys, it's just true. These guys seek out women who are relatively powerless. Not totally powerless, but like very much so, like, you know, at a lower level than them, right? And when I say that, I mean it in the sense that they're looking for fucking young kids. You understand? Like what you saw, 15, 16, give or take, right? They are looking for broke people. They don't have money, right? Of course. That's an important part of the equation. They don't have experience, right? And so when you think of a predator, right? The archetype of a predator, of course you're thinking of like a, you know, just like a guy who would be on Chris Hansen, right? Like a loser, more or less, like just a low-life looking motherfucker. A big thing that I've actually seen when you think of a predator, right? You usually think of a low-life, somebody who needs to aim for, you know, a more naive sect of society because they wouldn't succeed with someone who's their own age. But a big thing that I have seen said, and there's even a quote which I'll find, is like, Andrew and Tristan Tate are millionaire, kickboxing, fit, handsome men, 6'3" or whatever. Why would they ever need to traffic women or prey on minors or whatever? And the answer is pretty simple. So that they can dominate them. So that they can control every fucking aspect of their life. And it just so happens that the type of person who would be more susceptible to being dominated is a fucking young person, right? And so, okay, here, let me give you the sauce, all right? Take it from me, okay? Fucking professional out here. What kind of relationship do you want to seek out? There might be some people who think this is blue-pilled advice, but I would urge you to think a layer deeper. Think about this. This is actually, in a way, you could say that this is hard mode. But in life, in my experience, a lot of the times, you know, going hard mode does pay dividends, okay? Not always, though, but you want a partner who is powerful, okay? That doesn't mean that they're more powerful than you, whatever. What I mean is that you want a partner who is able to leave you if they do not enjoy being with you, okay? They have the power to leave you. What does this mean? It means, and of course this isn't a hard science, there's always exceptions, it doesn't matter that much, but whatever. It means that there is absolutely an argument to be made for, as a guy, dating, you know, a woman who has their own money, has, you know, family who, you know, can help them out, has friends, definitely. You believe me, you definitely want partners, whether a guy or girl, whatever, who have friends. Okay, that's super fucking important, in my opinion. And the reason being, right? Multiple reasons, really, but basically, they don't need just you. Their entire life does not revolve just around you. You might be the best part of their life, the number one person they trust. Ideally, yes. But believe me, when you are the center of someone's world, when you have that much control over someone's world, any slight friction in the relationship, any kind of little slights or like little looks even, will fucking disrupt their reality, okay? But if they have their own money, they have potentially their own career or their own hobbies or their own, kind of life. They have their own friends, family who look out for them. They have more pillars, okay? It's not just you. They have more pillars in their life that keep them together, all right? And if they have those pillars and you are a new pillar that gets added to their life, well, guess what? That means they actually like hanging out with you because they don't have to. They're not clinging to you for the fucking money. They're not clinging to you because they don't have anybody else they can hang out with. They're clinging to you because they like hanging out with you. I like people who are powerful enough to choose who they want to be with. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. But, let me know if that sounds like I'm a fucking idiot. Esther Bernstein. Guys, this advice might be blue-pilled. You shouldn't trap a woman in a relationship. Yeah. Facts, though. Humans are social creatures. Being alone for too long is something that eats away at you. Facts. It's a roundabout way of saying, don't stick your dick in crazy. Okay. Not quite what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you are the only person, if you have complete control over someone's life, you will make someone go fucking crazy. Do you understand? If they don't have fucking friends, if you control their finances, if you control their place of living, if you isolate them from other people, you are going to be the number one person in their life. And guess what? It's not that fucking sick. Because logically, it's almost logical that people would lose their fucking mind in that circumstance. Believe it or not, your fantasies, when they manifest in reality, very often can become nightmares. Now, I'm not saying don't have dreams, don't have aspirations, etc., but just be aware that when you manifest in life, when you start actually, making things real, desires manifest, be prepared for some disappointment, but also be prepared to reevaluate what you actually like. Because it might not be what you expect.